welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show this evening, we'll be talking about the Nigerian Women's Football League, where you have big winners on match day 9. Also, Nigeria Professional Football League. I'm talking about the NPFL. Big games also played today with at least Rivers United winning away from home. Same thing applies to Plateau United also winning away from home. And of course, the big news breaking this evening happens to be the fact that Chelsea is up for sale because the owner, Abramovich, wants to sell the club, and the proceeds will be donated to victims of Ukraine war. There's so much more to talk about in the next 19 minutes on the show on Wednesday night. I'll not be doing all the talking alone because I'll be having Favor Itwa joining me from Port Harcourt. Favor, good evening. How are you doing? Favor, it's like you just have to unmute yourself because I cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yes. Fantastic.
All right. Yeah, good evening to you. Good to have me. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Welcome to the show. Okay, let's quickly delve into it. Talk about Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership games decided today, match day. Now, you monitor most of the games. I mean, we're just bantering on WhatsApp concerning some of the goals that were scored and how Pelican Stars had to rely on a dying-minute penalty to be able to secure a point against Conference Queens. I'll just run through all the results of what went down today, starting with Pelican Stars and Conference Queens. It ended 1-1, and of course, it was Conference Queens, the away side, who scored early. Favor Nkwocha scoring first in 64th minute, but Sylvia Echefulam, a penalty that was awarded 3 minutes into extra time. That was when they got that point that they got. The other game between Oshun Babes and Niger Ratters, it was goalless, but Abia Angels and FC Robo, it took the brilliance of Nkechi Agam's 14th minute goal, and that was all Abia Angels needed to get all 3 points. And the game between Rivers Angels and Delta Queens, also Rivers Angels winning by a lone goal. Regina Omode, 13th minute goal, and she got that. Moving on to the last games, where you have Bayelsa Queens, the biggest winner on the day, beating Sunshine Queens by 3-0. Of course, Etim Edidiong scoring first in the 6th minute of the game before Chinyong Bamalu scoring 8th and 9th minute. And of course, the injury time, you have Bassi Juliet converting from the penalty spot for them to get that. And the game between Edo Queens and Andamawa Queens ended 2-0. Adaobi Oka and Suliat Abidim scoring the 6th minute and 23rd minute for Edo Queens to get all 3 points at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. So which of these games get you talking, Favor?
First of all, I'll start from the Rivers Angels and Delta Queens. Don't forget that game is the cracker. Delta Queens having come into this game with an unbeaten record. And guess what? You know, the game brought a lot of life. The goals commissioners were at the stadium. Solomon Gokowa was there to show you the magnitude of the game. But at the end of the day, it took the Rivers Angels side got a goal in the first 15 minutes of the game. But you must give the credit to Delta Queens. They tried to come into the game, but it was difficult. The brilliance of the goalkeeper of Rivers Angels did not allow them score. And you know what this is about? Super 6. Lots of teams are looking forward to qualify for the Super 6. Delta Queens are also looking to fancy their chances. Bayelsa Queens also got a win today. That's a fantastic one. They're currently second on the table in Group B behind Rivers Angels. So it's all in pursuit for the Super 6. Less than 4 more games to go before we know who will make it to the Super 6. So today, it was all for me. At first, I looked at the game involving Rivers Angels. Then the surprise one, Abia Angels. Yes, Abia Angels have not been consistent. They've not been consistent. But I mean, you could see that the players they brought in at the mid-season transfer window have helped Anne Chijine to get something out of it. On the one Robo Queens, even the Robo Queens had to travel to Abia State, but it was a win for them, and that alone will help them, in battles for survival. Looking at the table at the moment, they might not be able to qualify, but mathematically they can. But this matches we saw today was wonderful. Niger Ratters was also looking at the opportunities for them. They're currently third on the log of table. Talking about Group A, Niger Ratters got an away draw. At Oshogbo. So that's also a team to watch out for. They came in this season from the second division and to make it past Niger Ratters who could not, Oshogbo who could not pick a maximum point at home. I mean, it's really getting exciting. Business head of the league. I mean, you can see that the Nigerian Women Football League have just brought out a circular which came out just this evening about having independent assessor at different venues to ensure the game is free and fair. I mean, we don't have reports of partiality from maybe any of the teams. I mean, as we are approaching the business aspect of the season, so it was wonderful games played across all centers. Edo Queens also looking at also qualifying. They also did the job. And this season they've been fantastic. Going away from home, pick points away from home. But I must tell you, the unbeaten record of Delta Queens is no more, and no thanks to Rivers Angels.
So it simply means all the teams right now, they are all on equal footing because there's no one that's still unbeaten. I remember how even before, when Edo Queens were unbeaten, I mean, the pride was all there until they lost, and now Delta Queens have also lost. So for you, which of these teams you think that we make the Super Six?
All right, let me start from Group A. Looking at the table at the moment, Edo Queens sits with 17 points, 9-goal difference. Nasarawa Amazon did not play because they drew by. They are second with 15 points. Nigeria Rates have played more games than Edo Queens and Nasarawa Amazons. They have 12 points. So I think Edo Queens will make it to the Super Six. I'm also tipping Nasarawa Amazons to go through. Then the last slot will be between Nigeria Rattles and Confluence Queens. I want to tip Confluence Queens. I think they've got this. Yes, they dropped points away from home. They will want to make it count when they come back home to play in Lokoja. So I'm tipping Edo Queens, Nasarawa Amazons, and Confluence Queens. Then for Group B, Rivers Angels will go through. Bayelsa Queens will go through. I also feel Delta Queens will go through.
Okay, let's see. 4 more games to go for us to see the teams that will play in the Super Six this year. So we're leaving the NWFL Premiership and go to MPFL, where Plateau United winning away from home, and also another big team, Rivers United, went away from home to Kano Pillars to win. Kano Pillars is like, this is not the season. I'll quickly run through the games that were played today. Aqua United and Wiki Tourist, it was 2-0. Adam Yakubu scoring in the 49th minute before Leo Ezekiel scoring another one just a minute later. Those 2 goals that were scored by Aqua United just happened in the space of 1 minute. And the game between Aimba and Remo Stars ended 2-1 in favor, of course, Aimba. Remo Stars tried to get into the game through a penalty that was converted by Junior Unduka in the 70th minute, but then that wasn't enough because Victor Mbomo and Ekene Awazi already scored in the 37th and 49th minutes for Eimba to get all 3 points in that game, which they so much needed. For Gombe United and Abia Warriors, Gombe winning by a lone goal. Ukeme Williams' 70th minute goal was enough for that. The game between Katsina and Dakada, the highest goal-scoring match for the day. 5 goals scored in that, but then all the goals were actually scored by the 4 goals scored. They started with an own goal by Thomas Omokudu. 10th minute into the game, he scored an own goal. That's how Katsina started on a very good note. Chibundu Ama, 29th minute, also scored. Mandaka Kali also scoring. Then Ali Musa scoring in 88th minute. Before Adewale Lasisi, 51st minute, that was the goal that I scored for Dakada. But then it was a little too late for them to get into the game. Sunshine Stars in Heartland, 3-1, it ended. Sunshine completely beating Heartland. Gochuku Leonard scored 2 goals in the 2nd and 34th minute before Vincent Temitope scoring in 90th minute. But no, so Unzedigwe tried as much as possible to get to the game. 78 minutes scored for Heartland, but then a little too late again. For Niger Tornadoes and MFM, it ended 1-1. MFM scored first in that game, but somehow they conceded another goal, courtesy of Kabiru Adeniji, but they couldn't get into the game after Richie Egwavan had given them the lead in the 15 minutes into the game. The game between Lobby Stars and Plateau United ended 2-0 in favor of the visitors. It was Chimeze Izuchukwu gave them a goal in the 32nd minute before Albert Hillary, 90th minute, to consolidate that, ended 2-0. And of course, Nasarawa and Kwara ending 1-1. And Rivers United going to Kano Pillars to pick up a point. Iyima Wangwa's 70th minute goal was just all they needed to make sure they remain top of the table. Interesting games that were decided today. Away wins, you also have teams picking points away from home. But for Kano Pillars, not really looking good at all. We're thinking they should be able to win this one. But because of the way Rivers United have been flying this season, they lost just 1 game so far. That's a team that is difficult to really beat.
Yes, difficult to beat for Rivers United. They've been fantastic this season. I mean, we've seen them win 3 away matches so far this season. They won at Lagos, they won in Aba, they also won just today Kano in Kaduna against Kano Pillars. I look at them, they're a formidable side. They consider just
Okay, I think okay, Favor, it's hard for me to hear you. I think you're breaking off. You're breaking off. And of course, he was talking about Rivers United and the way they've been on this season, having just lost one game. The game between 3SC and Rangers International ended 1-1. Rangers, of course, picking a point away from there. Chinedu Enuademu scoring, and also you have Elijah and also scoring in 45th minute before seriously were able to get into the game. But they had to share the spoils. Those were some of the games we were expecting that would light up the fireworks, expecting so many goals. But then the game that lived up to the works that you didn't expect goals from happened to be the game between Katsina United and Dakada. 5 goals scored in that one. Of course, an own goal also scored in the game. Had everything you can think about when it comes to football. I hope Favor will be able to join me. But that's it for the Nigeria Professional Football League because so many games decided today, but then big winners on the day happens to be those teams who won away from home. Rivers United, for instance, of course, Plateau United, #1 and #2. These two teams, no one wants to blink first. All right, quickly, we'll just talk about this one concerning the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But I think we have to leave it for tomorrow. Yes, I think so, because Amajipine has been talking to concerning Super Eagles of Nigeria and what they can afford not to qualify for the Nations Cup. But then times, you know, that our friend on this show. So we'll leave that. And quickly move on to another one concerning the sale of Chelsea. Yes, Abramovich has actually confirmed that that club is up for sale. But the thing is, it's not going to be about money or loan or anything. Whatever proceeds going to get from the sale, he will be donating it to, well, the victims of the war in Ukraine. You know what's been going on in Ukraine, where more than 2,000 civilians are dead. And of course, we're happy that countries are beginning to take Nigeria, for instance, evacuating its citizens from that country. But there's a statement coming from Roman Abramovich, on the sale of Chelsea. He says that, as I have stated before, I've always taken decisions with the club's best interest at heart. Went further to say that in the current situation, have therefore taken the decision to sell the club, as I believe this is the best interest of the club, the fans, the employees, as well as the club's sponsors and partners. I mean, it's a whole big one for him, because he went further to say that the sale of the club will not be fast-tracked, but we follow due process. I will not be asking for any loans to be repaid. This has never been about business nor money for me, but about pure passion for the game and club. Moreover, I have instructed my team to set up a charitable foundation where all net proceeds from the sale will be donated. I mean, the foundation will be for the benefit of all victims of the war in Ukraine. This includes providing critical funds towards the urgent and immediate needs of families, as well as supporting the long-term work of recovery. This is according to him. It's not about money for him. He loves the club so much, and every time Chelsea win games, you see him watching, and not just that, anytime they win trophies, he celebrates with them in their bus. So the billionaire, he's selling Chelsea. So and what you say is end of an era for Chelsea and for Roman Abramovich. Remember, it was when he came. That's when, I mean, Chelsea became one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Before the coming in of Roman Abramovich, I mean, how many people really talk about Chelsea? They were not winning trophies. But he came, he put in the money, and then he was able to revive the club, and everyone is talking about Chelsea right now. Favor is still very much around. Favor, if you can hear me, I mean, Chelsea up for sale. This was being expected since last week, especially when the MP in the UK started talking about sanction, and seizing of his properties and everything. But this sale is not a surprise to everyone at all. Okay, I think it's freezing. I think it will be hard for Favor to really contribute on the show tonight because of network. But then talking about, well, the thing is, by tomorrow, we should be able to find out who will be buying the club. He's been in charge of the club. He bought the club like 19 years ago. And of course, since that time, I mean, Chelsea has been one of the biggest club in the world. So after that, British lawmaker Chris Bryant told Parliament that Abramovich was terrified of being sanctioned and, of course, was moving to sell his assets. So he feels that government were actually too slow, to seize the assets, but then too slow to act. But right now, Chelsea is up for sale. Okay, and he's one of the richest guy in Russia, and not only that, it was after the break up from Soviet Union when he made all his money, and he's being rated by Forbes with a net worth of $13.3 billion. All right, leaving that and quickly staying with what's going on in Ukraine. Well, the Paralympians, Russian Paralympians can actually compete at the Winter Paralympic Games that is starting on Friday. But they can compete as neutral athletes, not representing their country. I'm talking about athletes from Russia and also Belarus. But then there's been a lot of people kicking against this one because they feel that this is not the right decision. But then let's take a listen to the Paralympics president, Pearson, talking about this particular situation.
The measures are as follows. The RPC and PC Belarus will participate as neutrals at the Beijing 2022 Paralympic Winter Games under the following conditions. All their athletes support personnel will participate in an individual capacity as neutral athletes support personnel. They will compete under the Paralympic flag and the Paralympic anthem. They will not be included in the medals table. The 14-strong board, which features 8 Paralympians, was united in its condemnation of both Russian and Belarus governments for breaching the UN resolution in the week leading up to the opening of the Games. The board was also unanimous in deciding that such actions could not go unnoticed or unaddressed. In deciding what action to take, the board was guided by the IPC's core principles, which include a commitment to political neutrality and impartiality, and an unwavering belief in the transformative power of sport.
Yeah, that's passing there talking about the current situation. But then we've heard stories coming from Germany. Paralympians are really not happy because they feel this situation is really not cool with them. They were supposed to ban all the athletes, but then the athletes can compete. But no medals for them, of course, they will be competing as neutral. Also, quickly, IOC is really not making any commitment at all concerning Russia, even if the ban is lifted. But they're not thinking of the sanction they will be imposing on Russia after maybe the ceasefire. So that's why the IOC president was talking about that. He's really not thinking about right now on the sanction. They're not making commitment. But then maybe after the ceasefire, they might think of what to do to Russia. This program usually Wednesdays is always very short. That's all we can take on the show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic day.